A very hearty and warm welcome to all those who are here and more of our delegates who are joining us here. I'm Raju Goyal from Elsina, and I'm delighted to welcome all of you to the largest Source India in the last 15 years. This is the 14th edition, and it's really great to see this gathering becoming larger and more useful, more productive, more valuable for all of us. We are starting the proceedings of this conference now. Just maybe a couple of minutes. All our special guests, our VIP guests are here. Mr. Sushil Pal is here from the Ministry of Electronics and IT. He's our Joint Secretary and he's a key person. General Brar is here, and our leaders and friends from the industry. So just these few words from my side. I will hand over to our Master of Ceremonies for the day, Shamya, who will take over. So I request all of you to kindly have a seat, and we look forward to a great day and fruitful deliberations. Welcome once again, and over to Shamya.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I heartily welcome each one of you present here for the 14th edition of Source India Electronics Supply Chain. Can we all give a huge round of applause, everybody, before we begin? Come on. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Shamya Jirgal, and I am honored to be the host of this wonderful event. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to begin by giving a brief introduction of today's event. Electronics Industry Association of India, or ELSINA, was established in 1967 as the first industry association supporting electronics hardware manufacturing industry. Source India was initiated by Electronic Industries Association of India in 2009 in Chennai to accelerate development of the Indian electronics supply chain. Our vision has been to establish Source India as the flagship event of Tamil Nadu state for the electronics hardware sector, to encouraging and enabling investments in the electronic industries, and to bring all the stakeholders on a single platform to enable better communication and understanding among buyers and suppliers of electronics value chain. Ladies and gentlemen, today, buyers are invited from all over the country and abroad, enhancing demand for electronic components, products and services from Tamil Nadu. With the support from Government of Tamil Nadu, Source 2025 will be the largest electronic show in state, and this event is going to be a 2-day exhibition of 150 plus exhibitors, 2-day conference with key speakers and industry leaders from domestic and global companies. Buyer-seller meetings with 50 plus international and large domestic buyers. Also, ladies and gentlemen, today we have invited international delegations from Taiwan, Japan, Singapore, South Korea, and other countries. We hope that everyone will be able to maximize the benefits of today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, as our Indian tradition, we always start a special occasion by lighting the lamp. And to do so, I request the following dignitaries to please be present near the lamp lighting session. I request Dr. Sasi Kumar Gendam, President ELSINA, to please come forward. Can we all give a huge round of applause, everybody? I request Mr. Atul Lal, Past President, ELSINA, and MD and Vice Chairman, Dixon Technologies India, to please come forward. I request Mr. Lieutenant General Karanbir Singh Brar, PVSM AVSM GOC, Dakshin Bharat area, to please come forward. I request Mr. Sushil Pal, Joint Secretary, MITI, to please come forward. Can we request everyone to please Clap a little louder, everyone. Come on. I would request Mr. Richard Putota, Senior Vice President, Elsina, to please come forward. Everyone, let's keep clapping. Mr. Raju Goyals. Okay. Mr. N. Ramachandran to please come forward.
May I also request Mr. Sanjeev Narayan, Mr. Gagan Bansal, Mr. Rajiv Venkatraman, Mr. Johar. Sir, we have got lamps for everybody, please. We'll be delighted to have you there. I would also request Mr. Ivan Pokrovsky, our guest from Russia. And we have a delegation from Russia also. We have, I think we have got 2 companies participating for the first time. We have Mr. Cheng Nyun Kim, Consul General from South Korea. Sir, we would like you to kindly join. Mr. Kim. I see Ms. Shobna. Please kindly join. And Ms. Nandini, please. Both are our, very old and respected executive committee members. Please. Can I request Mr. Sanjeev Sehgal, please join. Mr. Bhatkal, Mr. Ravi Bhatkal, and also Dr. Shriram. We are seeing you after a long time, sir. Please kindly join for the lamp lighting. Please. Thank you so much.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, according to the Tamil traditions, we have a very special song which we usually play on the special occasions, and we're going to sing that. We have volunteers with us, so I would request everyone to. Yeah.
நீராறும் கடலோடு தனிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராரும் வதனமென திகழ் பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் மதி சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திரும்பியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே. Thank you.
Right. Can you all give a huge round of applause, everybody? Come on, for the success of today's event. I would request all the dignitaries to please come on the stage. I would request Dr. Sasi Kumar Gendam, President Elsina, to please come on the stage. Can we all please clap for all the dignitaries, everyone? Come on. Mr. Atul Lal, Past President Elsina and MD and VC Dixon Technologies India, to please come on the stage. Lieutenant General Karanbir Singh Brar, PVSM, AVSM, GOC, Dakshin Bharat area, to please come on the stage. Mr. Sushil Pal, Joint Secretary, MITI, to please come on the stage. Mr. Richard Putota, Senior Vice President, Elsina. And Mr. Raju Goyal, Secretary General, Elsina, to please come on the stage. We would like to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guests, expressing our deepest respect and gratitude. And so I would request Dr. Sasi Kumar Gendam, President Elsina, to please give away the bouquet, the flowers, to Mr. Sushil Pal, Joint Secretary, MITI. Can we all give a huge round of applause, everybody? We heartily welcome you, sir. Also, I would request Dr. Sasi Kumar Gendam, sir, to please give away the flowers to Lieutenant General Karanbir Singh Brar, PVSM, AVSM, GOC, Dakshin Bharat area. We would heartily welcome you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to play a small video that will help us refresh our memories. A video of the 13th edition of SOS India, which took place on Jan 2024 at a very at a very same place, that is Chennai Trade Center. So we're going to play a small video now. Thank you. A huge round of applause, everybody. Come on. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, we have a welcome address that will be given by Dr. Sasi Kumar Gendam, President Elsina. Dr. Sasi Kumar Gendam has over 25 years of experience in electronics manufacturing industry and has been a part of several national and state level initiatives to enhance electronics manufacturing in support of Make in India. He is currently the president at Elsina and passionately works with several product startups to support and grow this ecosystem. Can we all give a huge round of applause, everyone? Come on.
Thank you so much for the very warm introduction. Good morning, esteemed guests, industry leaders, partners, and my dear colleagues. It is an absolute privilege to welcome you all this morning to Source India, a premier platform dedicated to foster collaboration, innovation, and excellence in India's electronics manufacturing and supply chain ecosystem. I would like to personally extend a very warm welcome to all our dignitaries on the dais this morning. Mr. Atul Lal, past President Elsina, Managing Director and Vice Chairman of Dixon Technologies, the poster boy of India's electronics industry. Lieutenant General Karanbir Singh Brar, PVSM, ABSM, GOC of Dakshin Bharat area. Mr. Sushil Paul, Joint Secretary, MeitY. Mr. Richard Putota, Senior Vice President at Elsina. Very warm welcome to you all, sir. Thank you for being here this morning. And I also extend my very warm welcome to all our past presidents, Mr. Sanjeev Narayan, Mr. Ramachandran, and all my colleagues here present this morning. This year, our theme is enhancing India's supply chain, which reflects a crucial priority in today's dynamic and rapidly evolving global landscape. As India strengthens its position as a trusted hub for electronics manufacturing, building a resilient, efficient, and globally competitive supply chain is more critical than ever. India has made remarkable strides in electronics and component manufacturing over years, backed by a very progressive policies thanks to Government of India and the respective state governments, rising investments, and a robust entrepreneurial spirit. However, to truly establish India as a self-reliant and globally competitive manufacturing powerhouse, we must address key challenges, from localization of critical components to fostering supply chain transparency, digitalization, and sustainability. This event aims to bring together visionaries, policymakers, manufacturers, and solution providers to enable new strategies, forge strategic partnerships, and drive actionable insights that will strengthen India's supply chain ecosystem. Through engaging discussions, exhibitions, and networking opportunities, we aim to pave the way for a future where India is not just a consumer, but a global leader in electronics manufacturing and supply chain innovation. Source India as a platform over the last 15 years or so has been a catalyst growing electronics sector and has witnessed manifold growth in Chennai between 2009 when we started it and now. As every year goes by, it's only getting bigger and better, thanks to each and every one of you. This year is a new milestone with an impressive growth of about 40% since last year. Number of buyers and sellers registered are at a very new record. Our sincere thanks also goes to Government of Tamil Nadu for their unwavering support and encouragement every single year, without which we could not have made to where we are today. The key driver of Source India has been enhanced focus on domestic sourcing and value addition, thus promoting investments into electronics manufacturing. All of your dedication and expertise are the driving forces behind India's transformation into a global manufacturing hub for electronics. India has made tremendous progress in electronics manufacturing, with production increasing from about $29 billion in 2014 to over $100 billion today. That's an impressive growth. The country has emerged as the second largest manufacturer for mobile phones globally, exporting to all the key markets worldwide. However, our electronics industry remains heavily dependent on imports, especially for semiconductors, chipsets, PCBs, sensors, passive components, electromechanicals. So nearly about 60 to 65% of components used in electronics manufacturing are still sourced from countries such as China, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, being key suppliers to us. The need of the hour is to build a robust domestic manufacturing component ecosystem that aligns with the rising demand across sectors such as consumer electronics, telecommunications, defense, automotive, and industrial electronics. For India to achieve its ambitious target of 500 billion electronics output by 2030, the component industry must scale up significantly. Some key steps required included are encouraging global and domestic investments in components manufacturing. While we have successfully attracted global OEMs to manufacture finished products, sub-assemblies, I think it's time that we need to incentivize components manufacturing and encourage them to set up facilities in India through targeted policies and ease of doing business. The most significant barrier to developing the component industry is the absence of a well-established domestic supply chain and a clear priority of consuming domestically made components by large manufacturers. At times, giving a forethought on pricing by building today for the future. I would really urge all the large buyers to kindly consider this to build a domestically viable, scalable, and sustainable ecosystem for components. Developing semiconductors and display ecosystem, the government's policy on semiconductors is in the right step, but we need more investments in fabless chip design, packaging, and testing to build a complete ecosystem for semiconductors. Focus on semiconductors is laudable, but a key factor for sustainability and cutting-edge tech development as well as for self-reliance. But there is also an urgent need to support non-semiconductor components such as passives, electromechanicals, printed circuit boards, mechanics, SMT tech equipments, which are very low-hanging fruits, and I hope we would take actions towards that direction, as the gaps there are quite huge compared to supply and demand. Above all, promoting local R&D and innovation. Investing in design and engineering capabilities can help Indian companies move up in the value chain. Partnerships between academia, startups, and industry can accelerate indigenous IP development in components and their subsystems. To become competitive in global electronics component market, Indian industry must focus on innovation. Today, what's happening is that we have all the innovation outside India, and then we value add to a certain extent, and then ship products either for domestic consumption or for exports. But then, if you have to up the game, it is all about domestic value add, which means local design and IP residing in India. Supply chain digitalization and smart manufacturing, such as artificial intelligence, IoT, and automation, should be leveraged to enhance supply chain efficiency, reduce lead time, and to reach scale. Because we are not targeting just for India, we are targeting for the world. So therefore, the quality levels have to be acceptable globally, whichever part we are supplying to from here. Collaborations between MSMEs and large corporations are very crucial in the supply chain, and they need better access to credit, technology, and global market to scale up their operations. I think MSMEs are really the backbone of the industry. And as we all know, if our neighboring countries have grown bigger in component suppliers, once upon a time they were all MSMEs, but today they are large companies supplying to the world. So therefore, a special encouragement to MSMEs is the need of the hour. To position India as a global leader in electronics manufacturing, a multi-pronged strategy is essential. Increasing local value addition by encouraging more local suppliers and reducing dependency on imports will help improve India's competitiveness in the global market. India has the potential to become an export hub for electronics. We have started that in mobile phones, IT hardware, and many other components, but there is much more to do, and there's a wider area that we can address altogether. As we have trade agreements and enhanced logistics infrastructure, we can capture a large share of the global value chain as we move forward. Strengthening industry-government collaboration through continuous dialogue between industry stakeholders and policymakers is essential to address challenges and improving the ease of doing business. Let's not forget, end of it, skilling and workforce development is very crucial for advanced electronics manufacturing. Investments in this direction on skill development programs, vocational training, and university industry collaboration will ensure that we have the right talent for the future. I think the war is going to be on talent. I mean, there's going to be so much business, but we need to have sufficient talent to address these business challenges. The future of the electronics industry lies in reducing the supply chain vulnerabilities and building local capabilities for electronic products and component manufacturing. Most importantly, moving towards a design-led ecosystem. From an assembly ecosystem, we have to move towards a design-led ecosystem. The key really lies in balancing short-term measures with long-term strategic planning to build a self-reliant and globally competitive industry. The time to act is now, as we have very high demand for electronics and that continues to rise because of the global supply chain shifts, geopolitical and economical pressures. To fulfill our ambitions to establish India as the electronics manufacturing hub to the world, we need to go deeper into the supply chain and work on increasing our domestic value addition. The percentage of local value add today is anywhere between 15 to 18%, and if we have to go forward, we have to get that up to 40% by 2030, and that is only possible if we can have domestic component manufacturing, because that's where the jobs are created, that's where the technology is, and that's where the IP resides. To conclude, India stands at a defining moment in its journey towards becoming a global hub for electronics and semiconductor manufacturing. The foundation has been laid, the policies are in place, and the momentum is building. However, to truly enhance India's supply chain and achieve self-reliance, we must act collectively. Governments, businesses, and innovators working together in sync. I am confident that the discussions, partnerships, and innovations emerging from ELSINA's Source India will help us move closer to our vision of a 500 billion electronics output by 2030. With that, I invite you all to actively participate, exchange ideas, and collaborate in shaping the future of India's supply chain excellence. Wishing you a very productive and insightful 2 days at Source India 2025. Thank you again for each and everyone for coming over here, and let's all work together to make India great. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, we have industry address which will be given by Mr. Atul Lal, past President Elsina and MD and VC Dixon Technologies India. A BITS Pilani alumnus with master's degree in management studies, Mr. Lal has led Dixon since its inception, driving its growth into a market leader in the EMS industry. With over 30 years of experience, he has played a pivotal role in business expansion, new product introductions, and global positioning. An avid reader, Mr. Lal has authored Gita and India Incorporation, reflecting on leadership through Indian philosophy. Can we all give a huge round of applause and welcome him?
Our honored guest on the dais, Mr. Sushil Pal, General Brar, my industry friends, Sasi, President Elsina, Richard, and Mr. Raju Goel, industry leaders, members of the government, media, Elsina Secretariat, ladies and gentlemen. Frankly speaking, I'm at loss of words because after Sasi's address, I find that what I have written is practically the same points. So in a way, so I can't repeat the same thing. I'll have to reinvent what I speak just now. But I think it's also very positive that we in the industry now have a very unified thought process. So thanks, Sasi. Now, how to reinvent? I think I'll come straight to certain points which are close to our heart. So undoubtedly, the opportunity is immense. From where we have grown from $30-odd billion to $115 billion, we aspire to be $500 billion. Electronics export, I think, is second in the category in India now. Now, this is immense progress, and undoubtedly a tremendous opportunity for all of us. We also realize that in India, the situation has been very different from the other parts of the world which emerged as the hubs of electronic industry. What I understand is that when China and Korea and Taiwan and Far East was emerging in electronics, they started with components. India was doing everything, then everything vanished, and then we started with devices. So it's been the other way around, and now we are realizing And we need policy framework initiative from the industry to set up our component ecosystem, to generate an IP-driven industry and deepen the value addition. So that's the stage we are. I think it's a no-brainer that as far as the devices is concerned, for domestic consumption, these devices are going to be manufactured in India. Thanks to the government policy framework, thanks to the industry itself maturing and acquiring a skill set and a competitive cost structure. So the Indian market of electronics goods would be serviced through domestic manufacturing. And now comes the more challenging question that to make it sustainable, to make it tenacious, to deepen, to service the global markets, this deepening of value addition is absolutely essential and imperative, and it has to be followed by IP-driven growth. So that's the stage where we are, if it has to be sustainable. Otherwise, this growth that we are talking about can be shifty, and the geopolitical situation globally is such that anything can happen at any point of time in the world, thanks to the new leadership in the largest or the richest country of the world. So keeping that in mind, we look up to the government, we look up to the industry, we look up to the state governments, we look up to the academia for a collaborative kind of an approach to take this forward. We all realize that setting up of a non-semiconductor component ecosystem is essential. And I was lucky and fortunate to have spent almost 2.5 hours on the flight with the JS yesterday. So we are very keenly looking forward to the component PLI in this area. I think it's an extremely important initiative. I would be audacious again to suggest, sir, because I presume that this policy making is in the final stages of giving shape, that the financial matrix of the component industry is very, very different as compared to devices. Herein, we are talking about an asset to turnover ratio at times of less than 1. Whereas in devices, it can be 1:8, 1:9. So the support required both on the balance sheet CapEx side and on the OpEx side is of a different order. I'll take the liberty, sir, of requesting you that don't link it to the capital expenditure. Link it to the revenue and an upward ceiling of that kind. But as far as linking and limiting to a certain percentage of capital expenditure can be a bit of a challenge. Because then the support in the financial matrix is going to be very, very limited and minuscule. That's what my humble submission on the PLI for components is. Keenly waiting for it. We all realize that semiconductor has been a major initiative, the ISM-1. We are keenly looking forward to ISM-2. I presume the contours, because I think the first phase of this particular policy framework initiative has done a lot of good work, and the first phase of foundation has been laid for the semiconductor industry in India. But we need the ISM-2 because I keenly feel that apart from the fab for semiconductors and ATMP units, we also need a display fab. Because please appreciate, display is almost 10 to 12% of any electronic device. And that should happen in India if we really want to make cost-effective matrix of any product, whether it's a laptop or a television or automotive display. We need a display fab in this country. For that, the government support and the state government support is required. Also, once we have the PLI for non-semiconductor components, we need some iconic investment. I keep repeating this particular thesis that automotive industry grew in India only after we had a flag bearer like Maruti Suzuki coming in. Or in motorcycles, Bajaj tying up with Kawasaki, or Hero tying up with Honda, or TVS tying up with Suzuki. In electronics itself, in mobiles, we are where we are because we have Apple and Samsung with us. So I think once we have the rollout of this non-semiconductor PLI, we need a joint effort both by the industry, associations like Elsina, which undoubtedly doing a great work along with the government, to get some iconic investments, iconic players in the various domains to set up. We strongly feel that once that is done, 2-3 large players come in each sector, then other things will flow in automatically. Also, sir, I think geopolitically we know that security concerns are of the biggest importance to the country, and at no point of time we should compromise. But I think India is sitting on a stage, and our border country is sitting at a stage wherein we can leverage the advantage of the economic woes of theirs. They're looking for markets, they're looking for partners. And obviously the security risk is not to be compromised. But these partnerships, these collaborations should be encouraged, expedited. So again, a straight, direct, humble request that the PN3 approval process needs to be smoothened, needs to be streamlined, needs to be kind of automated. And the guidelines made very clear on this particular aspect. And the second is that even the PLI guidelines should be stable, clear, so that the investors are confident that this partnership is going to show in numbers. Further, I think it's extremely important that, you see, in this particular sector, there is a lack of talent. Our engineering skill set has been more focused on the domains like IT, on software, on IT services. We need engineering skill set in precision engineering, in optics, in thermals, in RF, mechanicals. There should be a free flow of expat experts allowed to come into India. And the taxation regime needs to be smoothened. The process of coming into India, that exchange of intellectual capital is extremely important. And this also has to be backed by a social infrastructure. When a Taiwanese expatriate is coming, he wants a comfortable life here. So this requires a combined initiative of the industry, of the central government, and also the local municipalities and the state governments. They have to be made comfortable, they have to be welcomed, they have to be at home. Only through this collaborative approach, this growth momentum can be given a push. It can be taken to the next level. These were some of my suggestions. Source India, this 14th edition, and thanks to Mr. Ramachandran for mentoring all of us, for bringing it along with the great efforts of Elsina Secretariat and this great initiative by Sasi, Richard, and the whole team. It has acquired a different level. Every time, every year, it reaches a different status, different stage. The momentum becomes bigger. So we hope, and I'm very confident, the next 2 days are going to be intellectually very stimulating, extremely positive for all of us. Because the whole objective is that they should translate finally into numbers and finally into business. And I get a sense that we're going to do it this time. So thank you so much for all being a part of this initiative for Source India. I wish everybody all the best and exciting next 2 days. Thank you so much.
Moving on to the next one, today's special address will be given by Lieutenant General Karan Singh Brar, PVSM AVSM General Officer Commanding Dakshin Bharat. Lieutenant General Karan Bir Singh Brar, PVSM AVSM with a career spanning 38 years, has rich experience of serving in all operational areas in Jammu and Kashmir, Manipur, Nagaland, Assam, Rajasthan, Rann and Kutch, and has served in United Nations missions in Congo and South Sudan as sector commander, both high-risk missions. The general officer has 2 Master of Philosophies to his credit and has done 3 computer courses and is now pursuing PhD. He has done Defense Service Staff College in competitive merit, topped the Higher Air Command course, and was also awarded with Thesis Book Prize during course at prestigious National Defense College. Lieutenant General Brar has extensive experience in capability building and Make in India initiatives. He was part of core team for inception of Army Design Bureau, emergency procurement team to Russia in 2016, and was instrumental in initiating and fructified numerous projects to include light tank Zoravar, swarm drones, tethered drones, and other niche technology products. In addition, he has led a delegation to Bangladesh to conduct a joint Indo-Bangladesh seminar on United Nations peacekeeping at Dhaka. In 2016, as General Officer Commanding of a division, led a battle group to Shanghai Cooperation Organization exercise in Russia on air-land battle in 2019. As General Officer commanding Dakshin Bharat area, he has effectively handled major humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations. In Tamil Nadu and Kerala, that is Cyclone Michong in December 2023, floods in southern Tamil Nadu in December 23, and landslide relief operations in Wayanad, Kerala. As also, he has created a defense ecosystem in Dakshin Bharat by engaging and mentoring IITs, research park, startups, and conducting defense tech shows, incorporating Army Industry Academy. So can we all give a huge round of applause and welcome Mr. Karan Singh Brar, everyone. Come on.
Mr. Sushil Pal, Joint Secretary, MITI. Dr. Shashi Kumar, President, Elsina. Mr. Atul Lal, past President and MD, Dixon. Mr. Richard Putota, Senior Vice President. Mr. Raju Goyal. All distinguished guests, the Elsina fraternity, industry, media, and all present. Jai Hind and Vanikam. Thank you firstly for the introduction. You see, I think my introduction amply gave out the idea that how much important electronics is to defense. So the theme of this inaugural address was increasing the wider supply chain of India. So if defense is not part of it, then definitely we are making a very big strategic mistake. We are making even a bigger economic mistake. Because if you see all the critical technology or all the things which are actually driving economics is defense nowadays. There is something called the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, DARPA, which was established after World War II in the Silicon Valley. That started with critical technology and defense products and the likes. And that has been where the internet and all your things which have come to the world started. So being part of this, I think, was very mandatory for me to be here to explain to the electronic fraternity that we have to be part of this supply chain, because you take any weapon system now, if you remove electronics from it, actually we are left with bows and arrows. Even a rifle today has a laser rangefinder, has a holographic sight. And if you go on to any other weapon system, I mean, it is all electronics. In fact, 70 to 80% is electronics now. And when you go over to now, a few years ahead, it will be all AI. So, you know, there will be cyber wars, there will be those things which you see in movies, the Star Wars. And in my view, I'm not an authority, but in my view, there were two transformations which happened in warfare. The first one was when we mechanized. Mechanized means not in the mechanized sense, but when we were fighting with swords, bows and arrows and on horses, then we turned over to something which was mechanical. It started maybe with a rifle, with artillery gun, with tanks, then aircraft. You see, it was all platforms. So everything got mechanized. And the second transformation is happening now, which is information data. So the countries which led that advance was the West. But this, who's going to lead, the jury is still out in the open. You have many countries, and whoever now takes the lead will dominate the world. Because, you know, defense is now a whole of a nation approach. It is not fighting on some border and fighting your wars. Of course, that is very important to India because both our borders are challenged and we have to ensure the security of the border. But many wars will be internal, will be through the mobile phone, will be through the cognitive domain. I keep giving this example, but I think I can give it again. If you have to secure this hall, you put a security guard. But nowadays that is of no use because, you know, somebody who wants to infiltrate your minds, he has to just put something in your mobile phone, and without the security guard, you all will be transformed and what you think will be transformed. So, you know, the whole of the nation approach requires a whole of a nation understanding also of defense. And any country which has now not given importance to its own defense is now in a problem. I don't want to cite specific examples, but you know, any country which was a weak army, we can take examples. I mean, if Afghanistan didn't have a strong army, you know where it is, Syria and many other countries which are having. So if a country is strong, then only the industry and everything else grows, and it is vice versa. And we just had the Aero Show. In fact, we were there, and I think some of you may have been there. You know, the technology which is being demonstrated in everything which is there, it is, I mean, mind-boggling. So just to give you some examples, I'm just going to list out. I think this audience knows. If you want to see what is required, surveillance and reconnaissance, we have everything from surveillance, whether sensors, radars, communication systems, drones, unmanned systems, electronics, which is targeting, every fire control system, everything is automated. I happen to go in a Tejas aircraft flying. Everything is automated. It's like a video game. There's a SAR radar, which will take an image, and you can put a target and it'll fire. So, you know, things are getting automated to such an extent that I think whether it's communications, your 5G, if you have 6G, the 6G is what, because there will be, I mean, TBs of data which needs to be managed and manipulated. So all that TB of data has to be through AI. Now, when we talk of AI, AI can't be in the air, it needs electronics. So as it was highlighted just now, that we didn't pay attention to the component part. So I think now both of them, we can't have any AI if we don't have component, that's well understood. But all this ecosystem needs to be developed. Of course, there can be policies, government is doing its best, we are also doing its best, but the thing is at the ground level, because there are two defense corridors in the country, one is in Uttar Pradesh, second is in Tamil Nadu. The Honorable Minister was supposed to be here, but my point to him, if the audience can The TN defense corridor has to be something like what DARPA was there, where you have the defense cell which incubates everything, because everything which is required is here. And I am quite, this thing, I think nobody would be here from, is anybody from DRDO? I don't think so. So if people from DRDO, the defense PSUs, they have to be part of the electronic supply chain. Otherwise, we are missing out on at least some portion of the supply chain which we need to incorporate. So my only point is, in all this, the user has to be also, because the defense procurement system, which in most countries, including India, is we demand a product. The army or the navy or the air force, they demand a product. But electronics is not a product, it is an industry. So therefore, it is such forums where you can bring out this point that electronics is everywhere. So any critical technology which is there, which is going to be used in civil, will be used in defense. And I also must highlight that, the warfare which was fought on land, sea and air, now you have, as I said, cognitive, you have cyber and space. Now all that is electronics. So whether it's our collaboration with ISRO for defense, or with the other private startups in defense which are coming in space, you have Elon Musk, who's providing information which is in the conflict which is happening. I mean, the private players are manipulating how the wars will take place. So, anything which is happening in the civil domain, especially in electronics, is going to be dual task. And all of this has to be owned by us, because anything which is transmitting can be manipulated by an adverse country. Or this drone which was flowing, if it is of some other, the recordings of this proceeding must be going to that country. So, that is the challenge which we have. While orders can be there, but it is more important the security aspect, whether it's the software part or the hardware part, has to be in control of the government of India or the defense. Of course, everything can't be done, but then there are understanding between countries. And going further, since there was some mention of the disaster, at the end of, I think, we have the movie. So I will request that movie to be played. But again, a point to Tamil Nadu, which has the Tamil Nadu Defense Corridor. We need to have a synergized, separate sitting in which how will electronics and AI and all these things which are there in the civil domain can be built up, because the orders are huge. The government, the Honorable RM has said that the exports or the defense manufacturing by 28-29 will be in the tune of 50,000 crores. Now, if you're trying to pitch that figure, and the defense production will be 3 lakh crores. So if we are looking at those figures, it has to be from India. It is not that all things which we are importing is what we are talking of. So, our dependence on imports in defense will drastically reduce. And there's another thing. We have current equipment which is again imported. There's a lot of equipment which can be indigenized, and these MSMEs are the small components, whether these are relays or actuators, or they are some system like I am a tankman. There are some, relay system, communication systems for our fire control box, or there are certain other control systems which are used in our communication systems which we import. So all these electronic systems which have a huge market, instead of buying from abroad, can be indigenized and made part of. So since Alcina has been there for quite long, I would urge the organization to have a structured this thing for the defense, so that the DRDO, DPSUs, and all others form part of you, because we, as I said, look at a product, so we'll always miss out on the electronic industry part of it. So with this, I will request them to play that video, which is just some action which Indian Army does always. And thank you for inviting me to this place. Thank you. Nandri, Jai Hind.
Cyclone Fenjal struck the coast of Puducherry and Tamil Nadu on 30th November 2024, unleashing torrential rains that wreaked havoc across 14 districts. The cyclone stalled for 6 hours near Puducherry, causing massive devastation. Residential areas were submerged, 10,000 hectares of crops were destroyed, and 50 boats severely damaged, leaving thousands stranded and in desperate need of help. On receiving a requisition from the Puducherry government, Dakshin Bharat area swiftly launched a rescue operation. The Chennai Garrison Battalion rose to the occasion, mobilizing a humanitarian aid and disaster relief HADR column with 70 troops and 5 truckloads of flood relief equipment at 0200 hours on 1st December 2024. By 0600 hours, the team reached Puducherry and immediately began operations in Krishna Nagar, Kuber Nagar and Jiva Nagar. Working tirelessly from dawn to dusk, the team rescued over 800 people on the first day alone. Families stranded without food and electricity received much-needed relief as food packets were distributed to more than 600 households. As the gates of the Chunnambar and Pennai river dams were opened on 2nd December 2024, the situation worsened in rural areas, especially in Nonakupam and Bahor. Floodwaters over 6 feet deep and fast-flowing created perilous conditions. Undeterred by the challenges, the Indian Army deployed motorboats to navigate the treacherous waters. The rescue team displayed extraordinary courage, evacuating the entire Komantaviri village by working late into the night, concluding operations at 2200 hours. Over 150 villagers were rescued that day, underscoring the Army's unwavering commitment to saving lives. Recognizing the severity of the situation, a second relief column was mobilized from Chennai, reaching the flood-affected areas by evening. Both columns coordinated efforts on 3rd December 2024 as floodwaters along the riverbanks showed no signs of receding. At the conclusion of the operation, the Chennai Garrison Battalion had rescued approximately 1,400 people, provided food to 600 families, delivered medical aid to 50 individuals. Stories of resilience and humanity. Amidst the chaos, stories of human resilience shone brightly. At Jivanagar, a mother with her 7-day-old infant was rescued, showcasing the delicate and life-saving nature of the operation. In another heartwarming moment, a 90-year-old bedridden senior citizen living alone and unable to call for help was found during the final house-to-house search. He was safely evacuated after being stranded for days. This rescue mission is a testament to the Indian Army's dedication, speed, and compassion in the face of adversity. Through their tireless efforts, countless lives were saved and hope was restored to thousands of families in their darkest hours. Indian Army, always there for the nation. Jai Hind.
We are always thankful and grateful for the services of the Army, sir. Thank you so much for the insightful speech as well. Thank you. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, next we have our guest of honor, Mr. Sushil Pal, Joint Secretary, MITI. With over 24 years of extensive experience as a civil servant in various ministries of the Government of India, Shri Sushil Pal currently serves as a Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. He is primarily responsible for execution of various electronics manufacturing schemes, example, semiconductors, PLIs, specs, investment promotion activities, etc. Besides, he is also the Chief Executive Officer of India's Semiconductor Mission and in charge of International Cooperation Division, Internet Governance Division as well. He holds a degree in MBA from Faculty Management Studies, Delhi University, and a postgraduate in Operational Research from Delhi University. He is also a certified internal system auditor, qualified as awarded by ISACA USA. Can we all give a huge round of applause and welcome him, everyone?
Thank you. General Brar, Mr. Sashi Gedam, the President Alsina, Mr. Atul Lal, MD Dixon, Ramchandran ji, I'm told he's the originator of the Source India event. Mr. Sanjeev Narayan from SERMA, Sanjeev Sehgal from Sparsh, Mr. Raju Goel, and Mr. Richard from Alsina, delegates from the industry, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, my special mention to these colleagues from the uniformed services. So happy to see you all here. Let me begin by congratulating Alsina for hosting this 14th Source India conference. It's indeed an honor for me to be present here and to be addressing this gathering of the vision of the manufacturers, of the industry leaders, who are shaping India's electronic manufacturing future. I'm pleasantly surprised and very pleased to see the presence of the Army, the Defense Forces here in this electronic event. And as we all know, that not because the defense is the largest buyer or the procurer of the technology products, but also they are actually the harbinger of the most advanced technology. As was mentioned by General Brar, that we owe internet to the DARPA, so we actually owe internet to the defense forces, and we actually owe most of the advanced technologies, be it in chips or semiconductor design and packaging or a compound semiconductor, be it high power devices or be it RF devices. I think all these innovations have actually come from the defense, from a partnership with defense forces, and that underlines as to how the role of the government and the financing of the government is so very important in any technological advancement. And just to underline, I think since we're talking of defense, I think going forward, the strength of our army will be decided by not number of soldiers we have, by not number of aircrafts we have, by not number of ships we have, but how many chips we have on those aircrafts, how many chips we have on those ships. That will be deciding the future of the strength of the defense forces. You don't need to bomb, too many, you don't need to do a carpet bombing of a city to destroy your enemy. You just need to do one precision-driven missile bombing to target, bomb and target your enemy's installation, and that is it. So, and with the present level of capability in the chips, the present level of capability in the GPUs, I think it offers that capability to do those kind of, edge computing on the go and, do that precision and targeted bombings. And let me tell you this, we are all very fortunate to be living in these times. I think all of those industry leaders present here, I think we are all very fortunate that you all are working in a most promising sector of any economy. And you are working in the most exciting times and in the most preferred destination in the world, which is India. And what better in India than a place in Chennai which contributes most to the electronic production and also to the exports from here. I was reading a report, a week back or so, that McKinsey pointed out that the 18 sectors will be contributing roughly about $48 trillion in the turnover, leading to something like $5 to $6 trillion in the profit. And out of those 18 sectors, 12 sectors belong to the IT industry, and that's where your presence or your contributions are so very important, and that's the market you have to target. So that actually underlines that the future has in store for you. I think over the past decades, we have made astounding progress in the electronic manufacturing. It has been, the numbers have been mentioned by Sashi Gedam as well as by Mr. Atul Lal. I think this has been made possible, yes, because of the enabling policies of the government, yes, but I think most importantly, this has been made possible by your undaunting, and uncompromising entrepreneurial spirits of the industry, I think, which have kind of, which have stood the test of the time and has, corresponded with all the resilience. We commend your vision, your self-belief, your trust and faith in the government, as well as your trust and faith in the growth of the Indian economy as such. I won't go into the numbers of the electronic production. I think you all are from the industry, you are familiar with this, but yes, I think we have made phenomenal progress. We are growing at electronic production is growing at a CAGR of more than 17%. Our exports have been growing at a CAGR of more than 20%. We have crossed the smartphone exports in the first 10 months than what we exported in the whole of year last year. And we do see a very, I think, exports rising up more than 20-25% this year as well. Although we have achieved the scale in the assembly manufacturing in most of this segment of the electronics, and mobile phone is actually spearheading this assembly-led manufacturing, and it comes at the top of the pecking order. And electronics as such, mobile as such, it contributes roughly about 50% of our total exports of the electronics. However, we're also consciously aware that the true self-reliance in electronics will not come from this EMS play. I think it will come only from by the further broadening and deepening of our electronic manufacturing, and that's where the component space becomes so very important. And we need to actually strengthen our component manufacturing at a much higher pace than actually we have been doing it for the EMS play in the past a decade or so. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think although because of whatever these policies over a decade or so, our imports of the finished product have actually come down. I think it's more or less stagnant over the past 2-3 years, but we see a very significant rise in the import of the components, and presently, I think we still import roughly 2/3 of our components demand in the country. And this 2/3, mind you, is not the semiconductor. I think that's set aside. So even if we talk about the non-semiconductor component part, I think we still depend almost for the 2/3 of our demand on the imports from the industry. So the task is actually very cut out for us. I think we have to develop this component manufacturing space, and there is no shortcut to it. And we don't aim to be completely self-reliant in this area. I think we are also conscious of the fact that no country has actually become a self-competent, 100%. No country has actually become 100% self-reliant in complete electronics. We don't intend to do that, and therefore we need to very wisely choose our space as to where we can be globally competitive. And this is also because roughly 75 to 80% of the global trade, is done by the GVCs, especially in electronics. The role of the global value chains are very important in the electronics trade, more than in any other sector in the world. And the nature of this beast called GVC is such that, they they very swiftly locate to those geographies where they find, most economically viable and the most efficient processes. These GVCs actually operate on the economies of scale, the cost efficiency, the most efficient logistics, availability of skilled labor, and competitive advantages which might arise because of favorable trade practices. And as was mentioned by Mr. Atul Lal ji, because of the favorable trade practices, maybe because of the change in the leadership in one of the biggest economies in the world. And these GVCs actually move very fast, their supply chains, and they adopt wherever they find the best value for their products. So therefore, we need to target these very specific components, and we need to make sure that our MSMEs or SME space, they are able to integrate themselves very well with these global value chains, and because that's what will actually, help us to become very competitive, help us to adopt the best practices in the industry, and to become far more efficient. And the government is aware that the component manufacturing, yes, it faces multiple challenges, ranging from the very high upfront capex cost, very high investment to turnover ratio, very high gestation period, as well as challenges on the technological capabilities, I think. And therefore, I think we cannot handle this component manufacturing scheme with the same brush, with a single brush, as we did with the EMS sector. I think therefore, each component, because of the various challenges it faces, it requires a specially designed, tailored scheme. And I would correct my earlier speakers, it is not a component PLI. This is a scheme which is a mix of many other schemes. So it has incentives. It will have an incentive scheme based upon a turnover. it will have some element of capex. It may have a mix of both, element as well. And this is needed because, as I said, the disabilities of each of these components are very different. For example, the disability which a multi-layer PCB faces is very different from the disability which a high-density interconnect or a MSAP PCB faces. So disability which a through-hole passive faces is very different from the disability which the SMD passive faces. Similarly, the disabilities for the semiconductor ecosystem is completely different, and therefore I think we have a separate policy for semiconductors as well. So another very important area for this for the self-reliance or the supply deepening of supply chain is the capital equipment. I think we have been relying almost 100% on the import of the capital equipment for manufacturing processes, and we're all well aware, how a small snag in the our capital equipments, it can actually bring our production to a halt and completely compromise our competitiveness. And therefore, that's another very important pillar, if we have to actually strengthen our supply chain. Towards all this, I think Ministry has been working actively with Alsina, with other industry associations, as well as with many other industries partners as well, to kind of do an active consultation and come out with a scheme. It's in very advanced stages. I know it has been a very long and long wait for the industry. Thank you for your patience. But yes, I think it would be very soon that, I think it's very advanced stages, and that's all I can say. And we'll very soon will be coming out with this scheme which will be supporting the components, and which will be supporting the components with a range or a bouquet of incentives designed to the specific components as well. And yes, we further realized that, I think the taxation, tariff, and other non-fiscal measures relating to the ease of doing business, they are far more important for the industry than the fiscal incentive which are offered through these schemes. I think fiscal incentives these schemes which offer incentive, they're just a sweetener, but actually what will keep you in game will be the taxation, the non-tariff measures, and other ease of doing business measures which we as the government need to take. And we do take up these measures with the relevant bodies, be it a DPIT or a Customs Department or a Department of Revenue, either through the budget process, especially during the budget process, but otherwise as well. Most of you may have noticed that during the budget process, announced 2 years back, I think government has announced or corrected the duty inversion in the IFPD space. It has also reduced the duty on the capital goods for the manufacturing of the lithium-ion cells. And Honorable FM has actually laid the foundation for a trust-based economic governance to take transformational measures for ease of doing business. The approach undertaken by the government, it actually underlines the light touch regulation, which is completely based upon the two principles of the trust and the principle-based approach. And it is expected that these trust-based approach with the industry, with the private sector, it will actually unleash the unemployment, it will actually unleash the productivity in the industry, in the country. And most significant announcement for the electronics sector has been on the taxation front, where the government has provided the tax certainty by way of providing a presumptive taxation to any non-resident company which is actually providing any services to a resident company doing electronic manufacturing in the country. And apart from that, I think for the components as well, government has laid down the path of mentioning the safe harbor provision, which again provides tax certainty to any non-resident Indian company which establishes here and establishes a component warehouse here and provides these components to the electronic manufacturing units in the country. Apart from that, I think PM Gati Shakti portal, I think that has also been opened for the private sector, and we are positive that this opening of a PM Gati Shakti portal to the private sector would offer a huge logistical gains and will aid and help the private sector in developing their own plans. And I'll lightly touch upon the three areas, where in fact I offer the full support of the ministry as such. Those are the R&D and the product design of the components, the global partnership or the international partnerships, and the third is the skill development, skill in the workforce development. We all know that the R&D and the innovations, they are the backbone of a resilient supply chain. And if we actually aim to become an engineering country or engineering nation, then we have to invest in R&D and the product design. And we as a government are approached by many IITs, and as well as the ISC Bangalore, who approach us if they can help any company for designing any product design of any components. So that's an open offer to the industry as such, who is looking to design any component or a product design of any component. We can touch you in, in close collaboration with academic institutions. That's one. And the other thing, this government has been very active in its outreach on the international front. And we have very strong and active technological collaboration with very important economies like the US, Taiwan, Singapore, Japan. So any industry is looking for any partnership in technology, in any sector. I think we are ready and open to help you out. If you have already identified your partner, we are ready to kind of lend you a support and expedite the process. But if you have not, then I think we are ready to provide you that space in a B2B engagement, which we normally do as a practice. And apart from that, the third one is the skill in the workforce development. I think, yes, we do boast of having the largest population, largest STEM talent. We do actually have, and we are going to have our largest and the youngest STEM talent for the next 3 or 4 decades. But what we do lack is actually the on-field, on-site experience in the industry. And that's where I think we are again actively working with industry and with academic institutions like IITs, especially in the design, especially in the chip design space, in the manufacturing automation, and high precision engineering. And NILET, which is the body under the ministry, has actually been awarded a deemed university, and they are also in a process of designing various courses in partnership with the industry. So in case any industry has any specific demand for any training courses, feel free to reach out to us. We'll connect you either with the best technical institutes or with the NILET to design especially tailored courses for you, so that you can get those those talent skills are readily made available to you. Towards the end, I would, again, reiterate the clarion call which has been made by Honorable Prime Minister, that we do have to, achieve the target given by Honorable Prime Minister to achieve a $500 billion target of electronic manufacturing in the next 5 to 6 years. Actually, he aims to position India as a key global player in the electronic manufacturing to achieve the larger vision of, India making a third largest economy in the very near future. And if we have to do that, we have to become globally competitive, and we actually should be aiming to become an engineering nation from complete design to manufacturing process. And this is a shared journey. I don't think government can do it alone, and it definitely needs the full collaborative effort by the industry, academia, and the government. And I'm confident, that this range of people who are, taking a part in this event, and the host of and numerous buyer and seller meeting, which are planned over today and tomorrow. I think it would result in some very significant agreements and the partnership between the various supply chain partners. We look forward for that. And I would also request Alcina to send us the feedback over the next 2 days, I think, so that we can take corrective action in case we have any. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you for an insightful speech, sir. Right, moving on to the next one, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Richard Putota, Senior Vice President, Elsina, who will be giving word of thanks. Mr. Richard Putota is a distinguished leader in the electronics manufacturing industry with over 37 years of expertise spanning PC fab, semiconductor materials, and electronics assembly. He has deep industry knowledge and hands-on experience. With his vast experience and commitment to industry growth, Mr. Putota brings insightful perspectives on technological trends, market dynamics, and best practices in electronics manufacturing. Can we all give a huge round of applause, everybody? Come on.
Good morning. Time to give thanks. I'm so happy to do that. Shri Sushil Palji, Joint Secretary, METI, thank you for your very insightful speech. Some of the script I also had on that, we are at the right time, the right place, and industry is really in the momentum today. So thank you very much, sir, for your kind presence here. Thank you, General Karanbar Singh Brar, PVSM, AVSM, GOC, for your kind presence here, for your insightful speech. Sashi Kumarji, Atulji, thanks for your presence and your insightful speeches here. For some of you who don't have much idea about the history of Source India, we all began Source India in a small room way back in 2011 times, driven by Nokia supply chain team. Anybody from Nokia here, supply chain team? Yeah, please, can you please get up? Let's all give a big hand to them. The idea was mooted by them and Josh and team, and very well taken by our Elsina Secretariat, and as an industry where we are today. Sir, Sushilji, it's a testimony today what you see, the momentum getting built into our industry today. So we thank you for all that, especially the industry for coming together. Together we can achieve great things. And to top my list, I would like to say big thanks to Government of Tamil Nadu for their overwhelming support all these years and their continued support. Of course, the industry fraternity, exhibitors, delegates from overseas, delegates from services, Elsina's past presidents, especially Ramachandran sir. You are our big mentor for Source India. You've been the guiding light for us, and for what we are today, we owe a lot to you. And the Elsina Secretariat, they were the unsung heroes behind the scene, led by Rajuji, day in, day out, and they make things happen like this. Today, what we are today, we owe a lot to Team Elsina. Let's give a big hand to Elsina team also. We are, I think, running late by 10-15 minutes. So I'll keep it short. So I want to thank once again, heartfelt thanks to everyone who are here today. And together we achieve great things. And let's get this momentum going on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the kindful note. Well, now I would request Mr. N. Ramachandran, past President Elsina, to please come on the stage to give away the mementos. So we'll start off with Mr. Sushil Pal. Can we all give a huge round of applause for Mr. N. Ramachandran, everybody? Come on. So we deeply appreciate your presence here today. Thank you so much. And yes, the mementos to Mr. Sushil Pal, Joint Secretary, MeitY. Followed by, can we all give a huge round of applause, everybody? Come on. Followed by Lieutenant General Karanbir Singh Brar, PVSM, AVSM, GOC, Dakshin Bharat area. Thank you so much for coming here today, sir. Once again, a huge round of applause, everyone. Come on. Next, we have Mr. Atul Lal, past President, Elsina and MD and VC Dixon Technologies, India. Thank you so much for coming here today, sir. Next, Dr. Sasi Kumar Gendam, President, Elsina. Once again, a huge round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much, sir, for being here today. Next, Mr. Richard Putota, Senior Vice President, Elsina. I request everyone to keep clapping. Come on, everybody. Thank you so much to all the dignitaries present here for today. Let's take a group picture, everyone. Let's take a group picture. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, next up we will be having Our first panel discussion, that is India's present position in global value chain of key sectors. So we're going to take a break of 10 to 15 minutes, a tea break. So I would request everyone to please be back, which is a very important first panel discussion that we're going to have. That is India's present position in global value chain of key sectors. Thank you.